I didn't know I was lost. You know, it's interesting. Wake me up when it's all over. The whole idea of I didn't know I was lost. I know that sounds like a negative way to start a talk. Do y'all know you're lost? It sounds a little like we're in a different church. But it's actually an important thing to ask, you know? How many people don't like to ask for directions when they're lost? Oh, really? Who said that? Preciosa? Preciosa said men. It's not just a male thing. How many women can cop to the fact that you also don't like to ask for directions when you're lost? Not one hand. Thank you, Marilyn. The only person who probably knows the globe like your left hand, right? So the theme for our month is awaken, right? And remember last week I said, I'm not talking about awakening as a destination, not awaken to a destination, but as a command from within, something inside of you that is asking you to awaken, to wake up, frankly, to wake up. So this song, Wake Me Up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost. I think there is a proclivity inside of us sometimes to want to be woken up when it's over. Call me when all the work's done. Anybody feel that way sometimes? Call me when this is all over and I can now just reap the benefits of it. Yeah, it doesn't work that way though, does it? It really doesn't, because it's a journey. As if we can avoid the journey to, or the journey from, or just the journey itself. You know, being awake, how many of you felt way more awake this week because of our theme? 2 people, great. Okay, so, well, I just have to tell you, I was getting a lot of calls and a lot of discussion from people saying, you know, now that we're actually making it our business to wake up and pay attention, so much more, like Joy said, so much more is being seen, so much more is being understood. So this idea that we can get to the end of a journey, wake me up when it's all over, you know, the mind knows what's going on. You can try to pretend you don't see what's going on. You can try to stay in denial about what's going on in the world around you or what's going on in your own mind. You can do your best, give your best shot at being in denial at the life you are living in and what's happening in it, but your mind always knows the story. Your mind always knows what's going on. Your consciousness is always aware on some level what's going on. So, here's my question to you this morning. Where do dreams come from? And are they still creating while we're asleep? When you go to bed, how many of you remember your dreams when you wake up? Yeah. So I'm talking about those types of dreams. Where do dreams come from? If I say, and if religious science teaches that the mind knows what it's doing at all times, that means awake or asleep, even in your dreams. And, you know, Carl Jung and Freud, any of them will tell you that dreams mean something, yes? Your dreams are trying to get across something to you. So I wanted to talk today about this concept of waking up and just juxtaposition it to when I'm dreaming, when I'm not awake, when I'm asleep, right? Wake up, asleep. Awaken, no, I'm asleep. Because of that, because I knew what I was talking about today, my night last night was just a plethora of dreams. And I woke up remembering them all. In fact, I woke up in the middle of the night, no, it was around 4 o'clock in the morning, and I woke Kevin up somehow. I guess I was doing something. I'll show you what I think I was doing. But I woke him up, and he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm in a production of a chorus line. And I think in my dream, I was like, whatever, you know, because it's really da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was dreaming that I was in a production of a chorus line, but now, like at 65. I was on stage, and with the whole cast, and you know, Michael Bennett's up in that big booth behind in Miami, which is where I opened in it, and I was just having this horrible dream. I was like, do you know how old I am? I am not doing that opening, that endless thing that never ends, and then dance across the stage, come back on and do it again. I was like, I can't do this. And in my head, when I woke up and Kevin said, well, is it a good dream or a bad dream? I said, well, is it a good witch or a bad witch? I said, well, it's not bad. I said, I seem to be doing it, but I'm like old. And he went, so you're dreaming that you're old? I said, no, I was dreaming I was in a chorus line. Old. In a chorus line. And he's like, you should go back to sleep. I said, yeah, who knows? I'll be in 42nd Street next. But I didn't. I did go back to sleep. And my next dream, and I remembered them all so vividly when I woke up. My next dream, I was in New York City on the wrong bus. I'd gotten on a bus, and I thought it was going to go up Broadway to the Minskoff Theater, where I was doing West Side Story, and instead it went this way and started to go up towards Harlem. And so I'm on the wrong bus. And it was an express, and I couldn't get off. And I would be late for the show. Now, I looked at what did these dreams mean? So I looked at what did the chorus line dream mean? Well, when you dream about a past event, no matter what, it's about longing to relive the event or things that you did not perhaps accomplish at that time period. And I looked back and I was like, yeah, well, you know what? That's just somebody's opinion of what this is. But it was an interesting concept. But it's still there for a reason. Why is that bubbling up? Why a chorus line? And then the wrong bus, according to Carl Jung, if you are on a bus and it's not going where you want it to go, it's because you have a fear of making the wrong decision. Again, I don't listen to all of these and go, oh my God, what's the decision I'm afraid of making? I don't have a decision right now in my life that I'm afraid of making. No, I don't. So then I went back to sleep. Actually, I was supposed to get up and I put the buzzer on, and I thought, oh, I'll go another 20 minutes. And I had the funniest dream. I still went right into dream mode. And I dreamt I was on the road in some production. Notice all of these are around Broadway and shows. I was in some production, but I was in the chorus. Horrifying. I was in the chorus of this show, and I'm my age. And in my dream, I'm like, wow, did I really think I would enjoy being just a body in the back of somebody starring in a show? It's very interesting. But it wasn't just that I was in a show. I was in the shower. I was in we all were staying in one huge place, and there was one shower. And I was getting into it with everybody waiting to shower, and I was like, well, how's this going to work? I like long showers. And then I woke up and took a very long shower. But this dream, touring in one shower, and when any dream about cleaning yourself is about letting go of the negativity of your life. That one I liked. I was like, I'll sign up for that one, right? So why am I telling you these things? Well, first, because they were just so vivid. And I thought to myself, what the heck am I working out inside of me? And if I'm working it out in my dream state, does it do me any good? There's the juxtaposition. I am awake, I am dreaming. I'm dreaming, I'm awake. Where do I do the work? The work's still being done. The universal law of life is still taking your conscious mind and creating from it. But how do I use this information? So the title of my talk today is Dreaming Awake. Dreaming Awake. So my question is, how do we demonstrate concretely and not exist in some dream state? How do we demonstrate? You all know what demonstrate means? Demonstrate, it's like a rock picture here. You all were like, mm-hmm. Demonstrating means how do you use your mind in a specific way to create a specific result? And the specific result is a demonstration. Everything in your life right now is a demonstration of the way you've been using your mind up to this point in your life. Everything. There's nothing in your life haphazardly put there. There's nothing in your life there by accident. Everything that is in your life on some level has been put there by the way you have used your mind. Now, that's good news. It may seem like bad news if you see things you don't like. It's still good news, because what that means is the way you use your mind gives you the power to put whatever you want in front of you, whatever experience you want in your life. So, how do we demonstrate on purpose? You know, that's the entire philosophy we teach here. That's why most people stick it out in religious science. Trust me, if people were not demonstrating, and it happens all the time, they leave this philosophy. If it doesn't work for them, they tend to leave it and go back to a philosophy or a religion where we pray to someone to do it for us. Thus, back to the idea, wake me up when it's all over. Let me know when God puts into my life what I want here. But you're all still sitting here. So you must understand and know that your mind is a powerful vehicle, a powerful tool for you to create the life you want to live. And does that mean God is out of the picture? No! Vibrantly alive is God. I just turned into Yoda. Vibrantly alive is God. God is vibrantly alive and awake and aware and right there in your conscious mind to create whatever you choose to create in your life. Ernest Holmes said this: since we are thinking beings and cannot stop thinking, and since creative mind receives our thought and cannot stop creating, it must always be creating something for us. So yes, it is creating in your dream state. When you're dreaming, the universal mind is somehow bringing that stuff up, and it is creating, but it takes you, your conscious mind, takes you to look at it and decide what to do with it. And I think that's where we miss the mark. We let it just go by, and it does what it does, and it hangs out there, and there's a feeling, and we get we have an atmosphere suddenly in our life. We're like, why do I feel like this? Well, because something came up, we didn't deal with it, we didn't take care of it, we didn't create from it. It just created a mood in us, and we just allow it to. And now we are living in the dream state. Not awake and aware, but in a dream state because we have allowed these unanswered, unrealized, unexplored things to go on in our lives, and we have just allowed ourselves to live in this dream state of unexplored things. And I think there's a lot for each one of us to go and take a look at, not just in our dreams asleep, but in our dreams awake. Ernest Holmes also says this: conscious and unconscious thoughts become the direct reason and cause of that which comes into our lives. Conscious and unconscious thoughts. There's a part of the teaching of Ernest Holmes where he says, dreams become real when we see them as real. So, dreaming awake. Have you ever heard yourself say something like, in my wildest dreams, this is what I would like? Do you know what you're actually saying to the universe when you talk like that or think like that? In my wildest imagination, I would like this to happen. You're basically telling the universe that's not going to happen, because that's just a dream that I have somehow put out of reach. If you're going to be dreaming awake, then you're going to be wide awake to the truth of who you are and place whatever that dream is in the consciousness of reality, not unreality, not somewhere in the dream world. How often do you think you hear yourself saying, well, I would love to do this? You're not saying, I'm going to do this. You're saying, that's something that's out of my reach. It is so subtle the way we talk ourselves out of our dreams. It is so subtle how we step back from our dreams, step away from the power we have. And we relegate these things to a place in time that seems so far out there. How many people wait to the end of their life to retire to a pleasant life? A lot of people. I grew up with that kind of philosophy, Irish Catholic. We work hard. My father, 3-4 jobs to raise 4 boys, just work, and eventually I'll be able to retire and enjoy it all. Because we somehow bought into that. And there's a dream of retirement. There's a dream of once I get all this, that's going to happen for me. But dreaming awake means that you are going to be willing to not just dream of something out there, but to stand in the midst of your dream. And that's what Ernest Holmes is saying here. Dreams become real when we see them as real, when we know them as real. He writes this: in order to experience our good, we must see it in our mind not as an illusion, but as a reality. Not as a dream, but as an experience, to declare the presence here and now. In other words, treat our dreams as realities, know them as real. So, in this month of being awakened and awakening, what are you putting off? As we close this year out, what have you put off in your life? What have you decided is going to happen later? And why? What are your real dreams? And I don't mean those things that you think are out of reach. What are the things that you really want in your life? What makes you happy? What brings you passion? What brings you joy? These are important questions not just to ask, but they are questions that you need to answer, and then you need to activate them. And Ernest Holmes says the only way to activate a dream, the only way to make a dream a reality, the way we demonstrate in religious science is by becoming that which we wish to experience. I talk about, are you equal to it in mind? But by becoming it, you've all heard the expression, you want a friend, be one. It's the same thing. You want prosperity, be the prosperity of your own life. I think way too often we focus on all the things that we aren't, all the things that we don't have. If it's prosperity, we look at all of our bills, all of the reasons why we are poor. That's not the truth. And I get it. Talk about a dream state and an awoken state. The dream state, unfortunately, seems to be happening in our awakening. In our awoken space, we tend to think that all this stuff out here is the truth. That's the dream. That's where Course in Miracles does have it correct. I always make a joke about Course in Miracles because I studied it for a number of years. And I was like, at the end of it all, I kept feeling like they were just teaching me, life is but a dream, shaboom, shaboom. And I was like, no, it's not a dream, it's real. But I get the other side of this now. It is a dream, but we've made it real. None of this is real. What's real is right where I stand. So, what's it going to take for you to know? For you to know so clearly that you are God, just like every other person on the planet is God, just like every living thing is God, just like all of energy is God. What's it going to take for you to know so clearly how powerful you are in such a way that whatever it is you are focusing on, you are? If it's prosperity, that's what I am. If it's self-expression, that's what I am. If it's health, that's what I am. I don't have to go get it. I am it. That's how we demonstrate. That's the key to demonstration. So, as the great poet Rumi wrote, he says this, "The breezes at dawn have secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep." What Rumi's saying to us is, if we are willing to be awake and stay awake, we have the key to doing anything, to changing anything in our lives. He says there is a place between the dream world and the awakened world, and it comes together as one thing, and the door is wide open. You can turn your dreams into reality the minute you realize that your only key to making that dream a reality is becoming the dream itself. Being willing to stand in the truth of that. So what's it going to be? What is it that you are going to do with this new year coming up, with this new week coming up, with the rest of this day? What are you going to do with your mind to assure yourself that what it is you want to accomplish in life is right there for you to accomplish? And it may be as simple as having a good day. It may be as simple as having a beautiful day. This has been a very difficult time for me this season, and yet every day I make it my absolute intention to have a good day, regardless. And I have to do that now because I can be caught off guard. You know, I was in Ralph's yesterday, and I was standing there, and this little girl asked her mother if she could have gum. And the mother was like, And the mother was like, no, I tell you this every time, you can't have gum. Well, that's like Nora. Every time. And not like just when she was a little girl. When she was 18, she'd be like, Dad, could you buy me some gum? I'm like, no. And I was standing there, and a little tear came down my eye because I thought, I would so like to buy her some gum right now. And then I started thinking, should I have bought her gum those 7,000 times I said no? And I was like, no, that was good parenting. She had braces. It's not going to go well. So make your mind do what you want it to do. Do not allow yourself to be subject to race consciousness. Do not allow yourself to be a victim to your past. And do not allow yourself to think that anything that you decide is right for you is out of your reach. That is not who you are. Who you are is the divine expression of this almighty, infinite, creative power. And it's right there in your mind. As Ernest Holmes says, what you focus on expands. What you live as, you live in. So take the time to wake up. Take the time to look at what's going on in your dream state. But more importantly, take the time to decide what dreams may come. What dreams of yours are ready to be lived, to be answered. Namaste. Amen.